guys. Today we're going to draw the face in the most simple, basic terms. To start, you'll start with an upside down egg or an oval shape and draw really lightly, really lightly on your page. Fill up the whole space of your paper. Sometimes it helps if you don't draw it all in one shot and you just piece it together little by little, and you can edit as you go. Now, I have a basic egg shape here, and I'll make it a little darker so you can see it. But I probably will adjust as I go along, just so I can kind of match this guy right here on the left. He's what I'm going to base my proportions off of for today. So once you have your egg, you're going to, you can use a ruler or not if you choose, but this helps, of course, get a straight line. I want you to put a line at the chin and the forehead of your person, and then you're going to divide really lightly, divide it in half, find about the halfway point. You can measure it out if you choose. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm just going to put a light dotted line just like you see in the picture. Really light line, and it's hard to see, so I'm just putting a darker mark so you can see it, and a really light dotted line down the center. Okay, so that's my my halves. Okay, I divided my face. Now what you're going to do is break the face up into more parts. So you're going to take this half and you're going to divide it by 2 again. So I'm just going to do it with my hand, not my ruler. You can feel free to continue using your ruler. And then you're going to divide this space in about half. I left a little bit more space here. This is where our forehead will be, and this is generally where our hairline will be. It might be higher, it might be lower, depends on who you're drawing. This space right here is where our nose will be, so already you can start to see the spacing of our facial features. You can see on this photo here, like my eyes are almost aligned and my nose is almost aligned with that person. Now you're going to split this compartment here again in half, and this is where our lips will be. You can draw the line all the way, you can do just a little bit. Okay, so this is where our lips will be. So let's just start with the spacing of our eyes. So a trick that you can use to measure out the width of your face and like decide where your eyes should go is to use the 5-eye rule. So you can put an oval in the center, about the size of maybe what you think the eye would be, and then you have to fit that same size eye within the face 5 times. If you can't do that, then your eye is too big or too small. Okay, so obviously I got it right in the first shot because I've had lots of practice. So you might not get it right in the first shot. If not, just try again. It's just trial and error, so don't feel discouraged if it's a little tricky. So essentially then our eyes will be in these 2 spots. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these other ovals that we don't need. And now I have my eye holes. Okay, so then my eyebrows, I'm going to draw a line for where my eyebrow should be. So I'm going to keep this line here. So if I go up like, if I divided this space into quarters, right, fourths, so if I divide it in half and then into quarters, my eyebrow line will be about here. Okay, so my eyebrows will be these little angled lines that angle down toward the center of the face and then down again. They go up and then down again toward the edge. My ears, a trick for the ears is your ears are about the height of your eye. In that photo, it looks like they're touching the eyebrow. So generally, they're about the height of your eye, and then they go down as long as the bottom of your nose. So this is where my ear will land. that photo that we're drawing from has a bit of a different shape than I just drew, so I'm gonna do my best to copy this shape. And then my other ear, same thing on this side. You notice how in that drawing the ears are slightly different. That's okay, because maybe his face is turned a little, or maybe his ears are just different. Our faces are actually not perfectly symmetrical, fun fact. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail quite yet. I'm going to finish mapping out my facial features, because when you draw something, you want to make sure all of your proportions are correct before you go ahead and put in all the little details that you so badly want to put in to make it look like a human. Another trick for you is your nose. Once you've mapped out your eyes, your nose is, if you make a dotted line straight down from the corner of your eyes, these will be about where your nostrils will end. And you'll see on the photo that the example also has those dotted lines. And then dotted lines straight down from the center of your eyeball is where generally your lips will end. And you can even try measuring your own face and see if you're, falling into that generic rule. So take your pencil and line it up with your eye and your lip and see if it's straight or angled. And same with your nose. Okay, so let's just go back to the eyes. Now that we have our lips in place, this is the center line for our lip. This is where our nose will end. These are our eyes. We have everything mapped out, so let's just go ahead and put detail in. The eyes are a simple football shape almost, a little bit more shallow than a football, I think, or narrow. Again, they're slightly different in shape compared to each other because this person that made the example did not draw them perfectly symmetrical, and that is okay. You still get the idea that it's a face, a human face. So I have the shapes of my eyes. The iris is that colored part in your eye. It's usually green or blue or brown. And so it's called an iris. I'm sure you've heard of that. And then the pupil is that center black dot. So we'll refer to those as the pupil, the iris, and then the little white part, that's your eyeball. I'm going to color in my pupils. Even though this drawing doesn't have pupils, we're just going to add them in. Looks a little creepy, but that's okay. Okay, my eyebrows. So just for the sake of getting in a rough sketch, we're just going to draw the shape of the eyebrow. Notice how I'm drawing around the line that I first drew. Okay, so I'm kind of filling in the space around this initial line, and then I can just fill that in. So I didn't go above, I didn't go below, I filled in the space where my line was originally. And your eyebrows, they start everywhere or anywhere for different people, right? So some people have eyebrows that go all the way here. They start over here, depending on who you're drawing. For the sake of this drawing, we're starting about where our eyes begin. Then we have little lines that signify where our nose begins. Notice how the bridge of the nose is not outlined in this drawing. That's like one of the number one things I want to steer you away from is drawing the bridge of the nose. I don't want to see you draw noses like this. Okay, I don't want to see that because this is cartoon nose, and we don't see the lines on the bridge of our nose in real life. This is just form. So we will eventually, when we practice shading the face, we will shade in this area to make it look realistic. So don't worry about that right now. We're going to go down to the base of the nose. And our nostrils will end. They're going to be little parentheses ending at this line and these lines. Okay, these are parentheses. And then our nostrils, the holes of our nose. It's like a little, a bird maybe. I don't know what to compare this to, but I made the edges of this little roller coaster here thicker to signify my nose holes, and the bottom is a little bit thinner because this is where my nostrils meet. Okay, so Already looking like a nose. Didn't even need the lines here for the bridge. Now we move down. Oh, and notice how the example has a little line here to give some dimension to the nose, right? Sometimes drawings are most powerful when you leave more to the imagination, when you're not telling your viewer every single detail that's going on. You could just let them imagine the rest of the drawing. That is what's beautiful about art, is our brains finish sentences and lines and images. And I'll have to show you an example of that another time, another class period. I'm just making these darker so you can see. Okay, so my lips. I never want to see lips like this. I don't want to see those. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see, I don't even know what other lips you can make. I don't want to see that, because our lips are not outlined. Our lips are just changes in value. Here, we will make outlines, but they're going to be a little bit less complete because we're not shading right now, but we will put some outlines right here. So I'm putting a little bird to signify the top of my top lip, and a little U shape for the center of my lip, and a big wide U for the bottom of my lip. For the center, I'm going to go back to the center. I'm going to bring lines from the center out to those edges that I made before. Notice how I'm not completing all of my lines. These are not going to connect to the center line because I'm leaving it to the imagination. And then my top lip will just kind of fade down into those corners. Okay. Now the hairline, I guess that's really it for the facial features. Oh no, we'll have to go back to the eyes actually. So we're going to go to the ears and the cheekbones. So we have these little cheekbones that define the shape of the face. Once we start shading, you'll see how shading really adds form and dimension to the face. And then the ears have these really abstract internal lines. Again, I really want you to just focus on making these lines as accurate to the example as you can. Don't think of this as an ear. This doesn't look like a real life ear, but you can draw in a way that still resembles an ear, okay, just like we're doing now. Okay, so again, abstract lines. I'm going to edit my head shape a little. I'm going to indent these lines, and I'm going to bring this line out and up, and I'm going to erase this interior line, making my head more round. And my hairline will be, again, not a complete outline, but I'll bring it down to this line that we made earlier. And this will be my general hairline. Okay, so we're not going to get into the details of the hair just yet. I'm also going to edit my jawline a little. Notice how just like little changes change the entire appearance of the face, and that's what's really cool about drawing. Little things make big differences. Now let's go back to the eyes really quick because I forgot to add something. Whenever you draw eyes, we have these things called eyelids, and they open and close and they protect our eyes. So we're going to add these to make them look a little less creepy. Okay, and they're just on the outside of the eyes, like that. And that is it for today. Finish this up, and if you finish early enough, you can move on to the next activity, which involves doing some shading practice. So good luck. You guys will do fabulous.